Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast video. We're on the 19th installment of the State of FEH Podcast right now. I'm DTM as always, and we have our usual guests, Oblivion and Joel. How are you two doing?
Well, I'm doing good.
I mean, since Gatekeeper is amazing, I'm doing great.
Okay, we'll talk about that later, Joel. But since this is the CYL video, so to speak, we have a very, very special guest. Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you introduce yourself, Phoenix Master 1?
What's up, guys? I'm Phoenix Master 1, and really excited to be on this podcast after listening it to many times. So yeah, I'm really thankful that you invited me, and I'm just excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you join us, and honestly, all of us, I think, looked up to you when we were starting our own content, so we're super happy to have you join us as we discuss one of our favorite games, that being FEH. And yeah, it's been quite the development this past month with the Choose Your Legends, everything about it. I guess to start us off on this conversation, what are your overall thoughts on CYL 7, and how do you think IS treated these units compared to previous years or anything like that?
I think design-wise, they are pretty unique. I think they definitely made it a lot better than the last time because even at the launch, I did feel like Brave Female Pilot and Brave Tiki were not that meta-influential. I could kind of see Brave Female Pilot working in Chaos Season, but I'm a lot more happy with the design choices for the Choose Your Legends.
Absolutely. I'm making a joke that they have two designers, and they brought out the good designer for this one because these are some really unique heroes. They actually did such a good job at making all of them unique, and the power level is very similar amongst all of them, which they typically don't do. Usually there's at least one bad unit amongst them. So I think they just did a great job, which is, even with the choice of heroes who I don't really like that much, I was so excited for these heroes.
Well, they balanced him well, too. They all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses. There isn't one that's just oh my god, I'm never going to be able to beat this, and they're going to stick it in the corner, and it's going to be Fallen Edelgard take 2.
Yeah, and
I mean, they are an indie studio, so they actually have 2 designers, I suppose. So you're right. Oblivion is right.
Right. We know the other design studio was in charge of Brave Tiki last year, probably.
Oh man.
I'm still.
They were the other designer was of Bridal Tiki.
Yeah.
Bad designer comes out, makes Brave Tiki, and the other one's no, this is how you do it.
Exactly. I'm still so sad what they did to Brave Tiki last year, so I'm super happy that this year, honestly, this year I think was the hypest CYL 7 reveal that I've personally been a part of, which was CYL 4 onwards. And, CYL 4 with at least the artistic choices were left a lot to be desired. So yeah, it's from that vantage point, it's been really, really good, the CYL 7, I think. Who are your... You had anything to say?
They also just made really cool designs with the terrain too, which I think is they actually added design space, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Right, I was about to get into that because I think the Vein effects has probably got to be one of the coolest new game mechanics they've added in a while. The amount of...
and I hope that they don't really saturate it too fast. That's one of my fears.
Right, because we have the stones and the flames ones so far, right?
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to leave that for the CYL just because it's their new thing until I guess we get used to them, and then they'll start releasing more of them.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing, but unfortunately they already gave the flame terrain on Flared Sparrow, so
yep.
I'm not sure they're going to be doing that.
And that's something we talked a little bit about last night, but Oblivion mentioned this, and I hadn't really projected that far until you started talking about how, since they counter themselves, I mean, having an entire map full of different tiles that had gone off in some way, that gives me anxiety. That's so much going on.
the whole map filled like there's wind in one corner, fire, then earth, and then lightning or something like
Water. Have the 4 elements. We're like Avatar now.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a whiplash for the people that are, trying to come back or actually get into the game.
Yes. I hadn't thought about that. You're right. Because it's already such a complex game to get into, but then you add that element too. Oh my gosh. I hadn't thought about that at all. That's crazy.
I will say, I do think like these like Divine Vein mechanics, Chaos was talking about this like last night as well, but like because of like the visual of like having the flames on when you like attack people and stuff, like it feels super satisfying when you use them. Like I've been using Gullveig with Flared Sparrow, and like just lighting like the enemy team on fire was just like okay, like I don't know what that says about myself, but it was like super fun and super satisfying.
Yeah, torturing people with fire is definitely satisfying.
Yeah, this is why I shouldn't play FE4 whenever like the remake comes out or something.
Oh, DTM.
But yeah,
don't worry, they're gonna account for climate change and actually flood the army instead.
Harvest will be a different name. Like, oh my gosh.
This will become Aqua.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
They actually do need to release like an Arbus ult with like a flame mechanic. That would actually be hilarious. They should do that.
I can already see it happening in like a Scion banner or something. It is unfortunate that you can't like inherit Flared Sparrow to like Arbus, I guess, but like I've been seeing a lot of people inheriting Flared Sparrow to like a lot of different units. Like Hinoka is the big one. Any like range flyers or like range calves, really. Who do you think would benefit from this the most?
I think probably Legendary Hinoka, because I've faced her so much in the Summer Duel Tower that it's being annoying. Yeah, probably her.
She is everywhere right now.
Yeah, I am so excited to do my SDR like 3 hours from now. It's gonna be so fun.
Oh man, that's not fun.
Yeah, obviously, like it's not just Flared Sparrow. Brave Gullveig herself, I think, has been also super fun even without the Flared Sparrow. I've been using her as a Gale Force initiator, and like she's been doing a lot of work, at least in Ether raids.
I think.
Yeah, I'm glad that they made like an Ether raids offense type of unit, because a lot of the design space I feel like is towards Summoner Duels nowadays.
Right, yeah. Although I have been seeing a lot of Brave Gullveigs in Summoner Duels, and she's actually deceptively good there, I think.
Yes, 100%. My only loss yesterday was the Brave Gullveig, because like I just wasn't I didn't pay attention, and she had an AoE special, so she actually did like a lot of damage. And then the Flared Sparrow like put in work. And also the one thing I think a lot of people don't talk about is that if you cover her with a save, right? So if she gets to initiate first and her save is still alive, that extra action makes it really difficult to deal with her. Because when you go to get the revenge kill, you're killing the save instead of her. And then she's just in your face already, so she can just go in the back line and kill whatever she needs to. Especially with the warping. Like, the gravity really doesn't work as they intended, I think, because of Hinoka. Hinoka's like, hey, you get charged. Just go wherever you want.
Yeah, like, Gullveig having that extra action, like, really hinders... It forces you to make unoptimal trades, essentially, which is, like, super important. Especially on this map.
I mean, it goes to show you that there's two things that you can always work around, and that's an extra action and brave. Like you can make a unit good if you have one of those two, no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much. I've been using AoE Gullveig in like Ether Raids offense, and she just melts defenses. Like I've been killing so many far safe tanks, and I think she really helps against like Fallen Maria teams. So yeah, AoE Gullveig is absolutely insane.
She's really cool. I think, like, because I was kind of low on her at first because of, like, the whole damage reduction piercing thing. But, like, the more I've played with her, she's just really fun to play with. And I think that's, like, something people, like, especially, like, all of us, because we talk about the meta so much, is, like, sometimes we overlook just having fun with the units. And she's so much fun. I love her.
Having fun? Blasphemy, Oblivion. Like, we don't do that here, okay?
Only count the numbers.
Suffering is the experience of Fae.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm honestly like super happy like how they did with Gullveig. Like honestly, like there was some like disaster scenarios I was having in my head like pre-reveal, but like I just think they like did so well with her. Like I'm really happy how she turned out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We also, of course.
Yeah.
You were saying something?
I just wish like she had the flame terrain in her weapon instead of the weapon,
Right.
because I think like it kind of takes away from her uniqueness. And now we have to worry about skills giving these terrains. Like imagine 2 years from now having a save skill that sets up stone terrain,
Right.
or something like that.
Mark my words, that's going to be like a tier 4 save skill that's going to come out soon.
Don't say that.
It's already 300 SP scoring skill. Is it gonna be like Legendary Crom's assist level?
Honestly,
Yep,
probably. Yeah. Okay, like
100%.
that aside, it's still so stupid how like to change fate gets to cheat and have like 500 SP. Like why can't Future Vision have 500 SP? You know? Like, come on.
That's your problem, really? It's not that it exists. It's that Lucina doesn't have it.
She didn't inherit that.
She didn't get the right mother. Oops.
Designer 2 got the hands on Lucina before.
Yeah. Yeah. Although like Designer 1 like did Soren really, really well, I think, if we're going to move to a different mage. Soren's decoy was not an effect that I expected them to give out to any unit, to be perfectly honest. The ability to give like the savior effect to another one is pretty strong.
Not only is it really strong, like the way they designed it, so it's so adaptable too, right? Like, because you can assign it to a person 100% with the support effect, right? Like the ally support, or you can do the highest defense, and then it can hit 2 people. Well, I mean, it can hit more than 2, but you don't want to hit more than 2. But the coolest thing to me is like when the unit dies, he can do another one on the next turn. It's like it's just so well designed, and there's so many ways to use it at like a high level when you really know what you're doing and you plan out your team correctly. I think he's so unique and cool. I love it. Like, I'm not a big Soren fan, but like, man, they hit it like on the nail. Like, it's so well done.
Yeah, it makes me sad about the original refine of Soren, honestly. Like, he came a long way from having Altome to assign decoy. It's absolutely amazing indeed. And like, you can match the defenses if you like have the resources, and it can like you can just have so much fun and mobility. It's insane because like if you don't have guidance 4, you can still have mobility with your savior, which I think is like pretty underestimated.
Oh, absolutely. And like the other thing too, a lot of people talk about is like being able to actually have a save who does stuff, right? Like a lot of times you have a save and their job is just to die. Like that's their job in SD at least, right? So now you can have a save who actually nukes people. Like that's so cool. It's duo Ymir. You even get the duo button. Like it's really nice.
Yeah, and I think it also allows us to like use more near save in summoner duels because like we can just bring other far saviors, and usually near saves are not really as common in summoner duels compared to far save. So
yeah, definitely. Like I think people definitely underestimate it. The first SDS with Soren, I did that. I did like a Lucia raid boss, and I had Freyr as my near save. Oh man, people were not ready for that. Freyr is so annoying as it is, but then when you make him a near save, it's just like, oh.
So I'm clearly in the minority here, but I think that Soren is the weakest of this bunch.
Oh my God.
I know you guys are gonna jump down my throat, and I think his nuking ability is amazing. I like that. I'm concerned that his savior ability is a little hard to set up. And not as adaptable to as many modes as some of these other units. Like I was using him on defense, I was so excited to get him there until I remembered that it takes a single turn for decoy to actually set up. So turn 1, you're running without a save if you try that. And on offense, I mean, generally I don't run with 2 saves anyway. So I usually find it better, especially in the age that we're in with low threat range. Like I'm normally better off by taking a melee specialist and throwing them up there. So and melee units in general have less range. I know you can throw something like Ilger, but I think we don't pay attention to how much stuff has to go into an armor for it to do well. Like extra stats, special skills. I mean, Hardy Fighter alone was so big. And you don't get that on some of your other units. But I can't argue with PM1 about the additional range. Like having Freyr as a near save and being able to move 3 spaces is incredible. And I still say that this is an amazing batch. Like, they're all creative. If I've got to point out the one that I like the least, though, I think Soren is the hardest to use.
Yeah, I guess, that's the thing I said in my review too, that newer players should not pick, Brave Soren.
Right.
Even though, like, the general consensus is towards, like, Brave Soren, because they actually need the barracks, which is kind of funny. Soren as a strategist cannot really, be a tactician with just nobodies. He needs, like, strong army. So, yeah.
Well, hold on now.
It's
that does fit. Because remember you said his original tome was the Owl tome. And so he needed people around him. Except now he needs all the barracks people.
I just felt for the thematics.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? This is an amazing batch, especially with thematics. But I actually sort of agree, Joel. I don't necessarily think he's the worst CYL 7 unit, and I do think he's super strong. But there's actually very few units that can effectively be a decoy effectively, especially when it comes to like ranged units and acting as a far save. Most like the good quote-unquote tanks that would appreciate being a far save with the decoy are like melee. There's only very few, I think, range units that would actually be a good decoy for Soren.
Yeah, maybe they're preparing the design space for the range units that actually want to be saviors. So who really knows? Maybe this is the 4D chess.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. For me, I think it's just like, I think you say it all the time, Joe, right? Like, when you're playing with the save, what do you really expect the save to do? Die, right? Like, you're not expecting the save to live, at least in SD, right? So for me, I'd rather have a save that's gonna die anyway, but at least I get some use out of them first, right? Like, they're not just standing in the back chilling, they actually kill something. So that's personally how I feel, and I do think he's, in Ether Raid's defense, like you're saying, he is difficult because of the no turn 1 save. I think if you set your map up correctly, a lot of times you could slow down against at least a majority of players of getting hit turn 1. Like, there are ways to shut it down so that there's traps to get through, there's buildings they have to break, a whole bunch of stuff to get to, so that you hopefully can buy yourself that turn 1. Now, it's not always perfect, right? There's good players that are going to figure out a way to get around it. But it's pretty consistent so far for me, right? Every time I've used this defense with Soren, I've never lost. So that's good for me. I just played against it while we were waiting, and I almost lost to it because Freyr near save is so obnoxious. It's so difficult to deal with. I definitely do agree, though. He is by far the hardest to use of the 3, right? Especially compared to like someone like Corrin, who you kind of just plug and play.
And we talked about it, but his nuking ability is really phenomenal.
Yes.
Like that is one thing that I did not see when I first saw the banner, and he is a phenomenal nuke.
I mean, it's like you said before, right? Like, you can't really go wrong when a unit has brave attacks, and
yeah.
Soren did come with some very interesting skills. One of those being Flare. Personally, I was super disappointed by Flare. Like, not only is it infantry locked, but it did not pierce through damage reduction. Like, this is not what we're asking when we asked for a mage special IS. But like, have you been inheriting Flare to your own units, or what units would you say benefits the most from that skill?
I think probably Ascended Celica is like the best for that.
Yes.
Because she's a very unique case of a unit who wants to function with that miracle that she has got, and also wants to get the healing. Like with Myra Myriads, like she's insane with Flare. But no, I have not been killing any Brave Sorens until now.
Yeah, I agree definitely. Like, I think Ascended Celica and Duo Ymir are like the best 2 users by far. Like, Celica just being a little miracle loop, and she has the anti-guard effect in her weapon, so it's like very consistent, which is really nice. And then Duo Ymir, obviously, just because you want to tank with her a lot of times. Like, she wants to get hit, she wants to heal up, and then she even has the duo heal, so like it's really, she's obnoxious. I'm just gonna say that, she's obnoxious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Ascended Celica is like the legendary Dimitri of this year, who just keeps getting things in her arsenal.
Yes.
Just getting better with the time.
Right.
Love to hear it. We got the Dimitri stance here. Let's go.
I'm super outnumbered. Folks, help me, please.
I think PM wants a Claude stand though, right?
Yeah, I like Claude and Edelgard a lot more than Dimitri.
Hey, okay, never mind. We have allies. It's finally balanced. We finally have balance here in this podcast. Yeah, fellow Edelgard fan here. But anyway, getting back on topic, one thing I forgot to mention is that, like, Soren's decoy, at least in SDR specifically, I was tempted to like use like that decoy with like Dual Mirror, because like a lot of people have been talking about it, but unfortunately like Dual Thor exists, and Dual Thor is the anti-fun unit, so
Yes.
yeah,
She just gets more and more value. It's like insane how she just gets better every time we release a new banner.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in the era of like stacking bonus effects, right? And we'll get to that more later. But yeah, Summer Thor is going to continue to have value as long as IS continues that direction.
Right.
Yeah, that is, I guess, one thing that is gonna be keeping her in like the good aging part of the unit, because I feel like she has kind of fallen off as a nuke, honestly. And like a lot of times, I think her duo button is the only thing that kind of makes me use her, because half of the time, like, things are not dying to AE specials, like these saviors like Brave Tiki. Then we have not Brave Tiki, sorry, Rattle Tiki, and then we have Corrin now with the Divine Vein. So
right.
I think she has fallen off pretty hard, but yeah, that button is just amazing.
I mean, it's not even
it's that and Guidance 4 and Soaring Guidance. I mean, that's what's
sure.
kept her. Yeah.
Hey,
and like,
we all don't have the guidance privileges here.
I mean, it's not even just like, and like triangle attack is just so important, and being able to get rid of that just like shuts so many like offensive moves. Like, yeah, like especially with new effects like decoy and even more in the future, I can see that having value. Of course, we mentioned the Divine Vein effects of the stones ones, and Corrin is definitely, I think, made a splash in the meta with her Divine Vein and her high speed and everything, really. What are your overall thoughts on Brave Corrin?
I think she's definitely one of the best saves, but I'm pretty glad that she can die easily. So
Yeah.
like, she can die to duochrome, so that's pretty nice, at least in like summoner duels. But yeah, she is just really strong, like, when you properly use her. Like, I see many people complaining like she dies in ether raids, and like a lot of times they're not even using the support. It's like, did we go to the Henriette metagame where like far save units were just run like that? So I guess that is just a nitpick, I guess, when people gauge her strengths, because like what more do you need? Like 205 PS to unit is so much things. Like, I'm pretty glad that she is the way she is, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like a lot of people, I don't know why, but like when it comes to ether raids, like, I put Corrin out there by herself and she died. It's like, well, did you give her any support? Did you do anything for her? Like, okay, well, obviously, you know, like, things are pretty strong nowadays, so that's gonna happen. But yeah, I also agree, like, I'm glad she's not invincible, because it felt like that for a second. I definitely ran into some whale ones that felt invincible because she had like the proper support and she was plus 10, so she was really fast. But like dual Crom, I definitely can take her out, especially with Brow Catcher, of course. Like, so thank God for that, because I was a little bit nervous thanks to those Divine Stones.
I mean, for most common Brave Corrins, like, just a pre-charged Deadeye from Valentine's Crom will just one-shot her. And honestly, like, when I was, like, testing that out in, like, SD, like, I was shocked, honestly, by, like, that sort of thing. I don't think she's as good in SD compared to something like Aetherates, just because, like, Valentine's Croms are everywhere, Dual Croms are everywhere, or Legendary Croms are everywhere. All the Croms are everywhere. And so... yeah. But, like, in Aetherates specifically, I've used her twice now, and she's definitely put in work. Literally took, like, 0 damage from many nukes, so... It's feeling good, yeah?
I feel like she's the most versatile of the other bunch. We talked about, like, I don't like her on defense, although there are a lot of people who do use her there, but I do think she can put in work in summoner duels, although you have to do Hardy Fighter. Like, that is just a must. It's probably debatable on whether you'd want, as soon as the attack speed scowl comes out, like, if you'd want that on her instead of her A skill, which would be interesting. But scowl is just so good. But that's the thing, is you have options there, and dragons have gotten so many neat things that I think she can play a lot of different roles, and I like her in SD more than a lot of folks, but that's because I think she can do some really cool things and cool configurations with her Dragon Vein Stone. I think that is a nice thing to have, even if it's not active on the very first combat until she ends turn.
Yeah, she would have been a lot more obnoxious if she could, like, auto set up the veins and you didn't really need to end her action. That would have been, like, a permanent thing going along with her constantly in the map. Yeah,
just like a
I'm glad that they
moves with her.
Yeah, I'm glad that they did the ending action because you see the funnier plays where people just end turn. They're so used to end turning that they haven't even set up her Divine Vein by, using her action.
Right. So, I didn't think about that. Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, like, that's something I forgot about too. Honestly, like, you have to physically end turn. You can't just, like, press the button end turn in Aetherates.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh. I'm so thankful.
Finally, they nerfed the end turn.
Yeah, let's go.
Took them 6 years.
Yeah. So yeah, I do agree, Joel. Hardy Fighter is definitely the way to go instead of, like, Counter Roar and SD. Like, it all comes back to Hardy Fighter for, like, in SD.
Can't escape it. Can't escape it.
Who would you say are the best users for Counter Roar, since that is a new skill that we have gotten?
I think definitely the regular Asker, because it's amazing to stack up, some damage reduction on him. So I think it definitely helps. And I think Counter Roar is, like, a very versatile skill where, like, so many dragons can run that. Like, I've seen Ascended Young Tiki use that pretty good. So there's just so many fast dragons that would love to have that, outside of, like, summoner duels, of course.
Right.
Even slow dragons, which absolutely surprised me, where it actually made good use of that skill. When I was doing all the Far Savior sims, most of them wanted Counter Roar 4. Like, it did really well with them. So I think it's an amazing skill for any tank that you've got that's a dragon. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, sometimes, like, best defense is your offense. So yeah, killing with the damage reflection, I guess, is really, really important.
Right.
Well, are there any beast units that you found make use of this really, really well, besides, like, Asker and whatnot? I think Joel, you mentioned, like, Femordis uses it really well.
Femordis. Yes. You just can't guarantee his transformation. If you could guarantee his transformation, it would be the go-to skill for him, but it's still very good on him.
Yeah, we're, like, 10 years away from beast transformation Sacred Seal, I think.
Oh boy. Honestly, I'd be down for that. Like, if I could get Fallen Edelgard to always be transformed with special acceleration, like, that would be so good. I would.
Oh yeah, as a Gale Force player, I can definitely use that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I have thoughts about people's perception of Fallen Edelgards, but we'll leave that for a later time. Obviously, last but not least, we do have Robin as our final brave unit that we haven't discussed yet. Red Sword Infantry, but, still has some very, very unique effects. What are your overall thoughts on his, rally spectrum and the strategies you can employ with that?
Oh, I love, rally spectrum. I think it's such a unique thing that he brings. Honestly, having -1 special cooldown in your weapon has become something that is standard now. So all of the older units or units that are not meta, not having that is something that always held them back, and now they can at least trigger specials easily. So I'm a big fan of how they utilize that. I really wonder though, if they made an opposite of rally spectrum, would he have been a lot better? Having double scowl as the support.
Oh my god!
Imagine that.
Oh god, that would be horrifying.
Would it be? Because Claude would be a lot more palatable right now. that's all I'm saying.
I think it would be a lot more.
Yeah,
that effect would be a lot more
tanks-
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't tanks benefit so much from that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Definitely.
not having the specials go off, that is insane.
Right.
Everyone's Lucia.
Exactly. Now I want to see a unit with that. That would sound super cool.
IS,
No,
don't
that's
listen to us. Don't listen.
That's a designer 2 idea. No.
If there was one thing I wish I could change about Rally Spectrum, I just wish that the special acceleration or the cooldown thing also worked for Gale Force. That would have been so good for various Gale Force teams, but they locked it to only offensive specials, and that just hurts my heart so much.
Yeah, that hurts my heart too, and that's why honestly at first I didn't really want to get him, because I'm come on. Gale Force has had such tough times, and you cannot give -2 special cooldown.
And his warping would have been so good for Gale Force too. Oh my goodness, what could have been? Yeah.
He's a really interesting unit. I think it's so cool, the design space they opened there where it's not about slaying anymore, which is so nice. And then also Gambit, right?
Right.
Just having a skill that actually gets better by using the high cooldown specials, which everyone kind of ignores, right? Year 1, everyone's oh yeah, Ether's so cool. And then Ether just fell off the cliff. Everyone's you don't use Ether, it's not consistent. But now you actually have a reason to use a 5 cooldown special. Even if Ether's not proccing consistently, you're getting that 15 true damage and the damage reduction. So I just think Robin's really, really interesting, and I hope they explore more of that in the future.
I was thinking about Aether, and it's actually the big fallout. I was thinking about the history of Aether. This is my world. That's anyway. But the big fall off was actually with Ike. Ike was the Aether user because of that forced desperation is amazing. And as soon as he left, you didn't see it again except if you're in Arena. Yeah. We've got Gambit Lucia now with Miracle, so that's a thing. Here we go.
If I had a spare Robin, that would immediately go to her because that sounds super, super fun and toxic. Oh my goodness.
I think it's a lot more toxic in Summoner Duels because we have so much special cooldown support with Dua Asker, Secret Maneuver, and Infantry Pulse that we can run on Dancer or something. And it's just a lot of times I've seen people just pre-charge their Miracle and stuff, especially in this season. So Gambit just is insane skill. You're having a Miracle with true damage, 50% damage reduction. It's really insane in Summoner Duels with all of the tools that we're allowed to use there.
Yeah, the only way to counter a Gambit Lucia that's properly supported is either physical no follow-up or magic no follow-up units. Which all the top tier whales do have, but they can be hard to come by. But yeah, I guess overall, who is your favorite CYL 7 unit? All of you.
For me, I think my favorite is definitely Brave Soren because I really like that assigned decoy, and it's just so unique. And I don't think the best thing is that I can sleep at night knowing that this is not going to be given to any other unit because like that's exclusive to engage Soren.
Right.
So it's not like a fate thing. So I'm personally like my personal favorite is definitely Brave Soren.
Yeah, I agree. Brave Soren by far is my favorite. Like the nuking, the sign decoy is really good. I don't sleep well at night though because I dream of a seasonal Emblem and it gives me nightmares.
Yeah, we need a blessable Severance soon.
No, we don't. Stop it.
Again, that's a designer 2 idea. We just
No, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Oh my gosh. Okay.
DTM's like, I want a blessable Emblem. She's gonna be a ranged mage with 3 movement. Like, stop it.
Yes, let's go.
I like Corrin. I like versatile units that you can use a lot of different modes, and I think she's great for that. I also think she's nice for the game. I mean, a new player can come in and get Corrin set up pretty easily. I like that for Brave units. We've talked about it, but it's such a complicated game. It's nice to have. All in all, Corrin is a pretty simple unit. Like you run around there, you don't end turn, you stop, and then you end turn. And then you're good. So.
You need to make sure you do that, and then you're all set. I think my favorite, honestly, is probably like the one I've been using the most right now, and that is like Brave Gullveig. Like I've been using her for 2 seasons in like the Fury 7 build, and like the switch from like Linja needing to proc her dual skill to get that second action, to not even have to worry about that, and also having Kanto, which I did not mention, but like being able to reposition your wand beacon is just like so good. Like it makes it a lot more flexible. Like Linja has Disarm Trap, but like Brave Gullveig has some other things that I personally find a lot more comfortable as well.
I think you hit it on the head.
She is amazing for like hit and run, honestly.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Especially with Freyr bringing back the Catria bolts, and a lot of like I've found like teams that don't really use a dancer, so it's just really free at that point with Gullveig.
Definitely. I love her with the Chroms too, because like you can either use like Duo Chrom to charge up like the AoE special, and that way you don't have to like bring in support for that, or like just Brave Chrom even. Like you can just have her go in, and then it's so easy to hit and run with Brave Chrom because you can just get all the way out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I really like her with Alear. I just with Legendary Alear, it really comes home. But I think you hit on the head earlier when you said this was a very fun unit. Gullveig is definitely fun.
Yeah. Like honestly, I like well done, IS. Like this was an amazing CYL batch. Like obviously not all the CYL batches have been like hits. But like this one definitely was. And yeah, I guess before we like move on from CYL 7, like in your predictions and just like placing your bets right now, 2 years from now, who do you think will age the best?
Do you mean with the refine, or do you mean like before the refine?
Pre-refine.
Oh, okay. It's so hard. I think I want to say Soren, but like I said, like the second they put out an Emblem that is blessable, like or more Severance just in particular, right? His value definitely plummets. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. So I think it's either Robin or Soren in my opinion. That's probably who I'd put my money on.
I think I would put my money on Soren as well, because I don't think they will let Designer 2 cook that Severance. So
Everyone's here on Designer 1
I want to say
team.
Brave Soren.
Yes, Designer 1 all the way.
Because like Rally Spectrum can happen on another like Robin alt if they feel like
that is
you
true.
know, if they feel like their bank is getting a bit empty. So I feel like Brave Soren probably is one I would put my money on.
Oh wait. What if they do Levin Sword Robin and he has Grand Strategy and Rally Spectrum? Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I think that probably takes place 5 years and not 2 years.
So one of the big things I looked at with the CYL refined tier list, one of the things that I really wanted to see was what makes a unit stay viable for longer. And the biggest thing is versatility in skill inheritance. And they continue to give melee armors and dragons more, better, new, faster, whatever skills. And so I think Corrin will continue to stay good just because of that. The other one is if you're a melee infantry, they just love giving you stuff. So I think I like Robin. I think he's a little bit more niche. I think it's a very good niche. Like I like him, but I think because of the things that have been coming, I'm predicting that they keep on with that, and that Corrin stays good in that way.
Yeah. Personally, like if I had to make a bet, I don't like predicting the future, but if I had to make the bet, I'd probably put Soren, because Soren is as good as like the best range tank, basically. Or like the best like melee unit that exists. So like as long as Soren can like be decent in his damage output, there is definitely justification to use him. Personally though, I'm going to be using Brave Gullveig till the end of time. I've done that with Linja. I'll continue to do that. Bolt Tower OP, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait till Designer 2 cooks up a blessable Unguard unit.
Oh my goodness. I was so afraid. We can get into this. I was so afraid Gatekeepers Refine was going to have On Guard.
Oh, yep.
I was so afraid of that. Thankfully, they didn't do that. But yeah, we also have the CYL 5 refines that showed up. The reception to them have not exactly been the most hype, to say the least. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, I did feel like people were just not that hyped for the weapon refines after seeing them, because the one that is the winner is like the unit who's pretty niche to Guild Wars teams.
Yes.
So that's the unfortunate reality, and I guess it kind of puts in the picture how the refines going forward for like Choose Your Legends units might go, because like Brave Marth and Brave Eirika were like one of the better Choose Your Legends 5 units, and they got a pretty tame weapon refine, all things considered. So like Brave Selev, Brave Trump probably don't really get the most insane weapon refine, thinking that, and maybe Brave Tiki wins the patch next time.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. My favorite thing though is that instead of having 2 people against Joel this time, we have 3. Because we have 3 Brave Marianne enjoyers here.
Yep. And we versus the one Gatekeeper enjoyer in the chat.
The question there isn't so much did Brave Marianne win the refines. The question there is who is influencing the meta the most. And that I think Gatekeeper has the biggest thing in this batch. And the refine wasn't necessarily great, but as a unit, I think he is the most influential unit of the Braves, of the CYL Braves right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because if you need to check the barometer of if he has affected anything, people are running pass in some networks.
Yep. Very true.
The way I see like Gatekeeper's meta impact is that like I think Oblivion, you mentioned this like last night, but it's like back when like Ninja Corrin, like when we first did SD, right? Like eventually like everyone just teched into that. Like, and if you were prepared, Ninjorin like wasn't a problem at all. But if you weren't prepared, then like Ninjorin can definitely like be super powerful. It's the same way here in that if you're actually prepared, like you're basically 5v4 and you're like, it's GG's. But if you aren't prepared, then especially on this map, because like we have the trees in the middle, you basically need flyers or warping to get across. You can definitely like have value with Gatekeeper that way. Like that's how I view like Gatekeeper's refine, or like just effect in general, because his refine really didn't do much besides like more support.
Yeah, I do like the fact that his existence itself kind of makes things easier, because if you don't really use Gatekeeper, you're still enjoying his effects because people are running pass instead of whatever like good skills they could run.
Right. No, 100%. The thing is that, see what IS is going to do on the next banner, they're going to introduce Pass 4, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like, it's going to be Guidance 4 for B skills, so you're going to be like, what the heck?
It's going to be like, it'll have the damage halving of Magical NFU.
Oh, no, stop.
Oh my gosh.
Stop, TTM.
Not only are you passing, you know, movement, you're also passing through defense. It's thematic, you know? Designer 2,
BTM is
get on
actually
that.
Designer 2. I think we finally solved it.
Yes. My uncle actually works at IS, you know? That's why
Oh
we
my
always have the
gosh.
leaks.
Yep. Found intern coon.
I will say, I personally do think that Marianne did win the quote-unquote refine war. Like, I've been using her, like, this season with her new refine, and, like, it basically fixed everything that she was, like, she had issues with, and then even more. Because, like, the main problem with Marianne was that it was getting inconsistent to be able to proc her specials. Like, that was the main problem. So, like, she needed, like, slaying and tempo, realistically. And she got that. And even more stuff, like having damage reduction, true damage, everything. Like, she literally got everything she wanted and more.
All right, here's my question. Where do you rank her in the nukes right now? And I don't so much want to tier, like who's, like, right near her, right above, right below?
I think she's like second tier, like not at the highest, but like right below it maybe.
Yeah, probably there. Like, I consider her like a lesser Bramimon, I suppose, with the damage reduction having and the specials. So probably, yeah, not in the highest tier, but it's perfectly fine. Like, she like got out of her niche in a way. So if you want to use her as a nuke, like, she can work now, which is really great.
Yeah, like similar to Bramimon is what I've been hearing as well from various folks. Like, I think that's what Masquerade, I think, said when they did their, like, rank 1 SDR run.
Yeah, they hit rank 1 with Brave Marianne with no merges or anything, and they were running pass on her. Like, she does a lot of damage, and when you put Magic No Fault on her, like, it's 75% DR pen on every hit. That's a lot. You really can't underestimate that. I think that the number one thing though is, like, Bramimon has feud, right? He has, like, super good feud.
Yeah.
And right now that's not that important because of the captain skill, but, like, it definitely will be in the future when we have to use a different captain skill.
You'll probably have to use, like, Sea Feud or something on that.
Need more Sanders to kill.
Instead of cooking up Severance, maybe they could cook up, like, a support unit that gives you the feud status. Is that Designer 2 territory? I don't think it is.
I'll be the biggest Designer 2 defender here right now, okay? We need, we need like a flash special for healers.
No.
We need, like, everything, okay? Spice up the game. Yeah.
You say that, but then Designer 2 is going to put out Unguard, and all of a sudden you're going to hate Designer 2. I'm like, no, put it too far.
Yeah. Designer 2 will finally nerf Bolt Tower after all these years. So sad. Personally, like, I don't see Marianne as, like, a nuke per se. Like, I see her as, like, a 2-for-1 refresher. It's, like, still, like, I know people on, like, the Face subreddit will complain about the gravity infliction, but, like, that literally does not. It literally is negligible when you're actually doing a Gale Force clear, because there's just, like, so much, like, warping that you do during Gale Force with, like, WOM and everything. Like, not having to rely on dual hindrance is really, really good, because there are so many defenses with, like, 4 or 5 dual heroes, and it's, like, insane.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like, I don't think gravity is, like, a big issue for, like, Gale Forcing, because like, if you have Gale Force for a long time, just the extraction is itself, like, so good, and that is coming from a magical source on a Gale Force team that can shred through the damage reduction. I think it's amazing.
Exactly.
But yeah, I wish, like, in the sense, like, I wish she didn't have gravity, because then like, she could be a hit and run unit as well. Now, I mean, she can still function as a hit and run unit, but, like, you need to read the AI if the team is not very low threat range, and then have, like, the other units kind of support her. But yeah,
Hit and run Marianne would have been actually really interesting, now that I think about it. Yeah, that sounds super cool. We also had Brave Eirika and Brave Marth. They exist, I guess.
Dang. I think Brave Eirika's Refine is being kind of slept on, honestly. I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. Like, because the reason why did Eirika fall out of the meta a bit is because of speed, right? She just wasn't fast enough to consistently double. And they fixed that problem, like, quite a bit. She gets a ton of stats. She gets low speed, right? Which is, she gets more than low speed. She gets, like, attack and defense as well. But the low speed is what really matters, because that really gives you an advantage in Speed Wars. I think they fixed that. I think they just need like one more good effect. Like they needed like DR halving, DR piercing, something like that, and she would have been bonkers. Or even 4 movement. I think like any of those 3 would have been like over the top, and Eirika would have been busted. So I think they're really close.
I think that's the case with both her and Marth. Like they needed one more thing, and it didn't even need to be big. It needed to be something that made them unique. But the thing with Eirika, and I think you're right. I think Eirika got a good refine, but there's positional value. And melee calves are kind of low on that list.
Right.
And then there's the fact that we just got Tea Time Ira and Shez, the Cav Shez. Right. And those are 2 really good melee calves. And so that's what for me, that's what I'm comparing her to. And that's tough.
Yeah, for sure. I think from like a meta standpoint, it doesn't really move the needle too much, but still it like equalizes it how I see it. So it's still like pretty amazing that she's kind of fixed in a way, at least with the speed thing.
Yeah, the speed thing is definitely fixed. I mean, I was really hoping we'd get some like damage reduction halving or something, because like that was one of the big things like she struggled with. Like she tings against like units like Brave Dimitri, I think, or something like that. And if they could, and like, unless you run like Legendary Alear, which we'll get to in a sec, like, like melee calves are just in a really bad spot because they want to be offensive, but they don't have a way to get through damage reduction. And so they're sort of in a pickle there.
Yeah, and even if they make like a flow skill that pierces through damage reduction, like Eirika is unfortunately occupied with the preferred slot B.
Yeah, you're right. Dang.
And Brave Self will win.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'm down. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Brave Marth, though, like I think everyone, I don't know. Personally, I think he definitely like lost the most, because I don't think like his refine really changed his play style at all. Or like, for me, the biggest problem with Brave Marth is that they didn't make him have easier conditions. Like, why didn't they make his conditions easier? Like, he needs to have a unit within 2 spaces. That's rough. Like, they should have made that 3 or 4 spaces. And then also the 60 bonus stats. Like, you couldn't have like, I don't know, make it 45 or 30 or something. Like, just make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think that would have been pretty amazing, honestly. I would have liked like a bit lenient conditions. But I guess if you're kind of building him like around him, then you can still work it out. I guess I do like the fact that you don't really have to choose between damage reduction or special spiral anymore. So that's something I really like, at least with this weapon refine. But yeah, unfortunately he got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
I've got to be very careful. I don't know if you guys have been in the Phaeology Discord Aetherade section, but they are all die-hard Marth fans. And so every time I say something about them, I have to duck. But I think we can all agree, like, the one thing, I needed him to get null counter disrupt. I think if he just had that, I would have called the refine amazing.
Right.
But there's been a lot of comparisons between him and Fallen Byleth, and I think he compares very, very similarly to her as far as performance goes. But it's good. I think we were all expecting, like we said, just one more thing to go more into a niche, like pick one.
Yeah, because like
Designer 2 coded the null counter disrupt into Legendary Self.
I think it was Joel I was talking to you about this, where I was like, when Self got his refine, I'm like, did Self just steal the CYL refines? Like, he just got like the refine of the year. Like, this is insane.
100%. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, like the designers thought that like Self was up for the refines in CYL and just like did it for Legendary Self when they realized the mistake or something. Like, all right, you move it over here then. Yeah. Yeah. I share the same, but like I'm not a big fan of Marth's Refine. Like he can still perform, but like it's also like super competitive when it comes to like Red Sword infantries these days. If he had NFU, that would have been, or not NFU, NCD, that would have been super, super good. But yeah, overall, like, at least the CYL 5 refines, like, other than, like, Marianne, like, I don't think really changed much in terms of, like, how they play. Like, Eirika can, I guess, meet the speed better, and obviously Gatekeeper, I guess technically Gatekeeper can switch niches and be like Saline in a way, to provide that healing. But overall, like, I think most would agree, like, this is rather average or like middling when it comes to like
DTM. I don't think you could have said that better. Like, that's what we want out of refines. We want to take our old unit and for them to, using a refine, create some new thing that we can do with them, like some new place we can put them, some new place to try them, and they definitely missed that.
Personally, I want my old units to become completely broken and destroy the meta, but that's just me.
I mean, didn't you get your wish? Like, all the Ross fans have been saying that Ross's Refine is super good,
DTM,
right?
shut up. So mean.
Yeah, he likes Gambit 4.
I mean,
Yeah. Ross meta now. Exactly. See, Phoenix Master gets what we're going with.
You guys are mean.
Hell and Mirror. Go ahead.
We're at that point. I'm not sure. Like, this is something, I guess, as content creators, we can always see that a unit could literally get the worst refine, literally could get +1 attack, and there's gonna be a contrarian that is gonna say, no, this is a good refine. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Always. There's at least one person in the comment section always like, what are you talking about? This refine's broken.
Oh yes.
Are there bigger copium addicts than gacha players? I mean, that's what it is, right?
I thought you were gonna say Roy fans. I was like,
My breaking point was when people were defending FE's weapon refine. Like,
oh my gosh. No.
At that point, I took the attack speed oath and pledge to never debate people if they think the worst refine is the best refine. It's like, I don't need to debate on that. It's like such a, like, I don't know why this happens so much. It's like the cognitive dissonance. It's like, oh my god. Like, you could have literally like Ross tier of weapon refine, FE tier. Like, FE is a lot worse, and there's gonna be a contrarian somewhere who's gonna find you and just debate you on that. So I find that really funny.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a similar problem to like gacha in general. Like, there's a huge case of fear of like FOMO or like sunk cost fallacy, I guess. And like, people just don't want to believe that, you know, IS would do these units so dirty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in like the FEH Twitter or Reddit. Like, there's, like the player base. I mean, look, I will tell you the truth.
I think
if
there
these
is.
refines are good or not. Okay. Like, we don't have to go.
I think
this
the extra copium comes from the fact that it's a Fire Emblem, game, and people are attached to these characters.
Right.
I usually do not see like other gacha games except for like a game where they have an established IP, like maybe Dragon Ball or something. But I think FEH, I don't think anyone can beat the copium of FEH players. Truly, I think we are undefeatable, and we should take pride in that for
I
sure.
mean, personally, I think the Genshin community got us beat.
Gosh.
Like, they would go ham if you say that your unit, you know, it's probably not meta. You don't need to summon for that. It's like, no, you have to. It's a must summon. Oh, do it now. Spend primos. Yeah.
oh man. But speaking of Dragon Ball, we got our own Goku in FEH in the form of Dragon Alear.
Legendary Alear. What are your thoughts on Legendary Alear? Just overall, like, I was surprised she was on this banner. Like, I don't know why, but I didn't expect her to be here on this one.
I don't know what's the word that can just describe disappointment and happiness at the same time, but yeah, she's that.
Oh man. She's very, very interesting. Like they really like went full out on her kit. She has like almost everything. Like there's a few things she's missing, but like man, she like hits like a truck. She has a brave weapon. She has DR piercing. Like how did they think Dragon Blast was okay? They're like, hey, okay, so we're gonna give you 50% speed-based damage. We're gonna give you DR piercing that you can share with a friend. And you're gonna get like the armored beacon, armored flow effect, but it's for melee and range. It's like, wow, that's a special. Can we get that special to Ike or like Black Knight, please? Like share the love.
Still, I like the fact that they let Designer 1 cook and actually limited that damage reduction piercing to the supported units.
Yeah.
Right. It would have been super toxic on like Ether 8's defense or something. Like I can imagine the Winter Lysithias just like going ham with that. Or not Winter Lysithias, the T Lysithias. But yeah, like I'm really liking the fact that like having these support effects be like Alear's sort of niche, because like OG Alear obviously had the charge, and now we have this DR piercing. I wonder like what future effects future Alears could possibly have. Like there's just a lot of options there.
I'm just amazed that we can almost make an Alear emblem. That's incredible. Like the game hasn't been out a year and we're almost there. And I mean, what are you guessing? Like I would say summer next year is when we complete it, but they may go sooner than that.
If we can get into like spoiler territories, I think skip like 30 seconds or something if you're concerned about that still 8 months after. But like I think Fallen Alear is where we're going to get the next one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that'd be great too. Like that's but I mean I love this unit. Like I absolutely love this unit. I think the damage piercing helps so many old units or struggling units. Like it is really fantastic. And she helps me so much in Aether raids. Like I just throw her out there and good things happen. I absolutely love this unit.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with her in Arena, actually, since she's bonus right now. And, like, yeah, she just takes so much stuff, and it's just super fun. This is not relating to, like, the unit viability, but, like, I also really love, like, the animations and, like, the design. It's, like, so good. She has, like, a Hadouken laser. That's, like, so amazing. Yeah. What would you say is the best support partner? Who can use like Dragon Blast damage reduction piercing the best?
There's just so many, honestly. Titan Lysithea, then I think Brave Marth is kind of again copium, but he also really gets the best of all worlds if he runs Alear with null counter disrupt, I suppose. Honestly, like she is just such an amazing support. Like you can, like any kind of tank at this point wants to kill the opponent in a single hit on like retaliation, with, like a special or something. So I think she is absolutely excellent support unit.
Gullveig for me. I just love it on Gullveig. And there's probably folks who need it more, but it goes back to Gullveig being such a fun unit, and that was something that she didn't have, and so it was kind of harder to do hit and run unless you were the Bolt Tower god. But now, I mean, you guys saw last night, like me just walk up to a very merged Tiki and just absolutely blast her and then run away with Gullveig. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for so long, Cavalry and Flyers have been restricted by the fact they can't get DR piercing. Like that's one of their biggest things that hold them back. And now you can get it, right? And the thing is, to me, the funniest thing was like they just released T Lysithea, and like T Lysithea is an insane nuke. Like she's stupidly powerful, right? Like she gets so much true damage. But the thing that was holding her back, the one thing, was DR piercing, right? That's the only thing that I was like, okay, thank God for that. We can make sure Lysithea doesn't kill everything in the game. And then they give her now Alear's here, and I'm like, oh God, like I don't want to deal with this. At least it's not on defense. That's like the big thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's so powerful. And Eirika, or T Mercedes, right? Like her having the double special in combat, being able to have DR piercing on that is really nuts. I think the one thing is like typically when at least comes to summer duels, you want to use her with other calves, so that's kind of like one thing holding her back. But still, just getting DR piercing, like there's not much surviving that.
Yeah, Teamer set is definitely like really appreciated Legendary Alear. Like
we would see her so much if this map was like cap friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have Turmoil, Alear, have the extra movement, and then
Oh man, got evil PM1 cooking over here, giving up the strategies.
FEH Master 1's joining Dev 2 side. Let's go.
we all have Designer 2 in us somewhere.
Yeah.
A little bit. No, but yeah, I think she's a fantastic unit. Like to me, I have Altina like in my brain all the time, so I'm thinking about that. But she's very similar to Altina in like the brave hitting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she gets to be infantry, so she can roll it. She runs Null Seed Disrupt for it, so she removes one of those weaknesses there, right? And then she has access to a lot of other powerful skills. They introduced Pledge with her.
Yeah.
Pledge is such a crazy skill. I just never expected it to go that way, especially after they just released Flash Sparrow, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, here's their new cooldown skill they're putting out. Then they put out Pledge, and I'm like, man, this thing's insane. Like, now units can use Godlike Reflexes super consistently. They can hit specials really, really consistently. The only thing bad about it is that Flyers can't use it, which is just like, why did they hate Flyers so
I was about
much?
to mention that.
know.
I so wished Flyers could use it. Like, come on. Like,
one more quick thing though. If you're listening right now, if we haven't scared you off, what I need from someone, because I'm not very good at this, but I need a meme with PM1 and Dev 1 and Dev 2, one on either shoulder.
Oh god.
Just putting that out there. I mean,
all
that's
right, Faye artists, you know what to do. All right, I better see those.
They need to do that, and then we need to be able to put the heads on it, so we can have DTM on one side and me on the other side whenever Joel's summoning, and I'm telling him to summon more.
You can't do it with me because like both of you are like the summoning like angel demon things. Like, I'm outnumbered here.
Oh man.
But yeah. All right. Well, I guess like one thing we do have to like say our goodbyes to is the fact that gauntlets are pretty much dead now. You know, it was a good run, but yeah, it looks like we're not getting gauntlets anytime soon. So we salute you.
Yeah, like I said, Fae players are the absolute best at coping. So,
Yeah.
so I think I still have the hope for that.
I really want it. Because I want like a Gauntlets banner with like Balthus and like Dedu and like Casper. I know people are kind of tired of Three Houses, but man, that would look so cool. I would love that so much.
Yeah, the next Fire Emblem game actually, it takes place where you actually are a child of a dojo master and you are the lord with only arts as your starting class. So you're not even a Lear, like getting arts on the promotion. You're starting with arts, and that's when they give the gauntlets and arts. Yeah, absolutely realistic scenario.
It'll be like Fire Emblem, but like Wuxia or something like that.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
It's Fire Emblem Urshifu.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Speaking of which, we do have like the Wind Tribe banner with like their
Oh,
thematics. Like quite the units that have been released. Kagero, of course, Dagr, Katria, I guess, is there as the demote, and of course Claude. Look, demotes, like we all know what they're going to do, right? So yeah. I guess we can start with Kagero, and we'll work our way up, saving the best for last. Personally, like, what are your thoughts on Kagero? Like, I saw her sort of like Nina 2.0 in a sense. Like, they do similar things, I guess.
Yeah, I think they kind of took Duonina and thought, what did we cook wrong? And they just added the ingredients and
Yeah.
just put out Kagero from there.
I can't believe they did that. Like, they didn't even change the movement type or like the color of the dagger, anything. They're like, nah, that's good.
What is this unit? What is this unit you guys keep talking about?
The effective damage in like all alts. I don't think inspiration is.
You're right.
Yeah.
What is this unit you guys keep talking about? I know that there was like a special thing where if you summoned on it, you just got Disarm Trap 4 and that was it. But I don't remember a unit behind that. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about.
Disarm Trap 4 is like... Oh, go ahead.
I think we all, like, the second they introduced the Hex Trap, everyone's like, so when Disarm Trap 4 coming out? Like, everyone knew it was going to get nerfed.
But, like, I don't think it's, like, that nerfed even. Like, it's good for, like, hit and run, but, like, specifically for Gale Force, like, 65 is the current HP max, right? So you need to be, like, at least...
66, yeah.
66?
56.
Yeah.
So the 10 HP on Disarm Trap that you give makes it 56. And that is literally the HP threshold that 2 combats with Double Fury gets you into, like, WOM range. Like,
right.
So, like, it's literally good for, like, that one initiation. And, like, that's it.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I'm, like, so wailed out here. I'm like, yeah, that's easy HP condition. I hit that all the time with my merges. It's summer support.
Okay. Do we need to pull out the whale sound board right now?
I mean, wouldn't it be the first time?
Oh man, yeah, I really like the fact that it's good, but it's not too overbearing, because I think Hex Trap had a good run, and you could have stopped the big brother sometimes. So I think Disarm Trap is perfect. Kind of sad that it's not gonna show up in all the forms, so you ultimately have to pull that.
Right.
I didn't think about that.
that's
You're
annoying.
right, yeah. Dang.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, Disarm Trap 4 was a lot tamer than I thought it would be, because, like, at least for me, like, I don't really use hit and run, and so, like, yeah, having to meet that specific, like, 1 HP condition, 56, like, with triple mythics is going to be very interesting. I don't think it's like a fodder you really need to summon. Like, it's definitely no, like, guidance 4 or even, like, oath 4 or anything like that, I would say. But yeah.
I still like it. I wouldn't, like, if it wasn't on a rare unit that I had to summon for, I'd probably want it for, like, Yuri. 'Cause I still enjoy, like, Yuri hit and run. I think, and he easily hits that HP condition, so it wouldn't be a problem. But, cancel control still exists, so that's something to consider.
That is true, yeah.
It depends on how important hit and run becomes to the meta, right? I mean, the nukes are just getting bulkier and bulkier, and we're just about to talk about that. And so it's getting harder and harder to take things out and end turning. So, yeah.
You know what unit doesn't have that problem? As long as there's no damage reduction piercing. Okay, you guys are supposed to say Claude or something. Okay, we will fix that later.
I thought we were going to talk about Dagr first. So I was like, okay.
I thought that was Joel lead-in to Claude. So I was like, okay, I guess we'll talk about this first.
You know what was terrible? I was like, Bolt Tower is a unit?
In DTM's mind, yes.
We'll talk about
We're
that.
still using Fallen Takumi. Fallen
Yeah.
Takumi still exists.
Halloween Hector.
Okay, if you exist, we'll talk about Dagr first. I mean, main question about Dagr is that does she currently, like, have a place that she excels in, right? Like,
I think the thing is with, like, Duo Dagr, like, I think Joel talked about this a lot. It's like the problem is that you use her once, right, and then it's gone, and you're like, oh, I hope this works really well, because if they, like, Duo Thor me, I'm screwed. Or if I don't, like, effectively use it, I kind of, like my team is just gonna fall apart in SD. So having consistent Pathfinder every turn is really nice, even if it is only Pathfinder 2. I think that's, like, enough a lot of times, especially with these 4 movement calves. So I think she has a place. The problem is, like, she's not as powerful as, like, the most powerful cav nukes, like, Carla or
Selef.
Selef or whatever, right? So I think that's, like, the only problem. But I think, that doesn't really matter, though, because her art, like, have you seen those abs? Oh my god. That alone is enough to make her good.
Definitely. And, like, also the kite is just, like, so good.
The kite! Yes!
We still don't know the names of the birds, honestly. I thought they would name them. Like, we have all these characters in Fire Emblem, they always name their mounts. Like, you can pick up, any kind of Fire Emblem game and see what they name their mounts. And now we have the birds. They didn't even think about the names.
There's probably some, like,
considered that.
Norse mythology thing behind that somehow. But yeah.
I think Wind Tribe Dagr is pretty amazing for like hit and run. In Aetherite's offense, like with AoE specials and such. I think having Pathfinder is a really amazing thing. Like it just opens up more space for the hit and run shenanigans, because you're not really going to be using like Duo Dagr as such for like a hit and run team. And you could use Dagr, I guess, in the light season, but still, I think just having 3 movement Dagr is better instead of running even Tempest and Odd Tempest.
Right.
That's actually interesting. I didn't think about that. What if you did do that though? What if you ran like Dagr, like Cav Dagr, and then she gives Pathfinder into somebody, and then you have Mythic Dagr? That's 3 Pathfinder. That's a lot. You could have Gullveig go in, and then with her 1 Canto, she could be like in the back line again. Huh. Okay, I gotta cook now. I gotta think about it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I do think like Aetherite's offense is definitely like where like Dagr will have a place. Like, I just imagine her as like either a hidden run or Gale Force unit in there, and like, yeah, she can definitely like perform very well with a double Pathfinder. Like, I personally think like Mythic Dagr is sort of being slept on. Like, I know people say she has fallen off, but like she can still work in like Gale Force pretty well, and like this Wind Tribe Dagr is like that, but like on a Cav with extra range, and yeah.
Yeah, if they just copy paste like her slot B to the remix of Mythic Dagr, that would be insane.
Yeah, that would be great.
I would really like that.
Definitely. Oh man, that would be nuts. Holy crap. They've been putting out so many new like improved preference skills for all these units, and like they just get crazier and crazier every single one. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah. Meanwhile, with Radiant Aether.
No, we're not talking about Aether. You make me sad. And Black Knight. Oh man.
Speaking of upgrading preference, we need to talk about Claude, all right? Like, they upgraded Fallen Star to Deep Star, and they actually fixed the quote-unquote bug with Fallen Star in that it didn't work in SD. So, like, Deep Star works in SD. And, like, Wind Tribe Claude is quite the menace, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, what were they thinking? Like, having, like, releasing Rally Spectrum support and then having this unit that casually gets like three cooldowns before like his first hit. Like, and it's not even like the first hit, like he gets on the second hit too. It's like, wow. I mean, I like Claude, but I think they went too far.
They saw Promise hadn't been playing in a little bit, and like, how do we get her back in the years?
But seriously, so that, and then Plumeria, and then Legendary Claude's about to get a refine. Like, they really want to Promise back.
Yep.
But yeah, he is an insane unit. He is completely ridiculous. I had someone just like charge him at me in SDR. They're like, Claude can just win against everything, and they just ran him at me. It didn't work out for them, but like he was really scary. I had to really think about how to not die instantly to him, because like that close counter is something you cannot underestimate. And the fact that it is an inheritable to both melee and ranged physical units, like I did not expect that at all. I was expecting it just to be improved close counter and that's it, but it's so much more.
Yeah, Prime 4.
Yeah.
I was not. I thought it was close counter too, but like, oh my goodness! Like, imagine that on like Brave Crom. That would be like absolutely insane, since like with the bonus stacking and everything.
Yes.
And yeah.
They finally made a flyer that doesn't want guidance or sorting guidance in his slot C.
Yeah. I mean, I think because of how guidance is, people will probably still run that on him unless they have like a bunch of other guidances already. Because like we're
about to get the Oath guidance. Oh, flyer guidance is about to get an upgrade.
Oh gosh. I'm waiting for Cav
Actually,
guidance.
it did. It was sorting guidance.
Yeah, it was sorting guidance.
Right.
Which guidance has not received the upgrade? I think there's one guidance lacking,
I think
maybe.
I want to say like
actually.
At least all the major guidances got upgrades. Like we have
Ground Orders 4.
Oh boy. That's going to just give out warping within 2 spaces to everyone. That's like so long.
Ground Orders 4 will be the same thing, but it will have warp bubble built in.
No.
See, this was a trick question to bait out the designer too in all of you.
Yeah. Designer 2 is in all of us confirmed.
I'm obsessed with Warp Bubble because I've invested so hard into warping. Like I wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats, just like, did Warp Bubble release again?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
luckily Pass still works. So until they release like Warp Bubble Plus, at least we have a counter in some like direction. But
right.
definitely scared of when they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over when they release like support ally can get Warp Bubble and Citrine gives that to everyone.
Oh God.
That would be exciting. But yeah.
Oh no, my designer 2 came out.
So speaking of Claude, though, I mean, even looking at Aether Raids, I mean, I've definitely been hearing a lot of frustration with how he just destroys end turners. Who defeats him? Like it's
I think either Lucia, Scowl users with like acceleration or with like guard or something, and maybe like Fallen Maria if you can like either outspeed or avoid the brave. Like I think that's like basically the main ways, unless he runs like Sea Feud, then Fallen Maria won't work. But
oh man, is Brave Marth the real Claude counter? Is that what we did here?
Also, I guess like Vantage units with legendary Alear support, if they don't have like a way to get through damage reduction, that's another way. Yeah.
Altina stonks keep going up.
Truly.
I mean, the way I like defeat like defense teams with Wind Tribe Claude is like Gale Force basically. Granted, that is like the way I beat like pretty much every defense team, but at the end of the day, like Claude is a super powerful nuke. But it's not like we haven't gotten like super powerful nukes that can destroy like so many things before, right? And so, like at least when it comes to like Aether Raids, I guess even in Summer's Duel, since we do have like Chroms everywhere, I don't think he'll be like meta changing. He'll just be like meta dominant or like very scary, if you get what I mean.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he's like the T-Time Lysithea of this banner, I suppose.
Yeah.
The T-Time Lysithea with legendary Alear support built in.
He's definitely tanky too, which is annoying. Like especially with the close counter too. It's just like, oh man, like I gotta figure out. Like you really need like DR piercing or something to explode him, so he just doesn't get a chance to hit you back.
Right. I mean, again, very thankful that Chroms are our savior. Thank you so much, IS, for treating him so well.
They love Chrom.
Like,
I just think it's interesting that they're really trying. We had this huge swing for how many months now, where God Swords and basically Omni tanks were just huge, and now they're giving us definite counters to that, and so that's interesting to me. Not only in the fact that these units hit hard, but that they're really hard to kill, like even duo emirs like that.
And yeah, that's sort of like the direction like a lot of these nukes are going with. Like not only do they hit hard, but they're also really bulky as well. Like we sort of saw that with like Asker, dual Asker initially, and now with Summer Emir, Claude with the Deep Star if you don't have piercing. Like that seems to be like a direction they're going for.
Yeah, definitely makes me happy to use mages and pawns of Loki now with these bulky mages.
Oh no, we're gonna have a comment from Bart now. He's gonna be
We mentioned pawns of Loki. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, like I guess you've summoned for Claude, all of you three, right? You have a copy?
Yeah.
Yep.
How have you been using him so far? Is it just like on defense? Have you used him in an offense team or in like Summer's Duels?
I haven't honest, but
no, you go ahead.
honestly, I haven't used him yet. I summoned him, and then I was like, okay, I gotta prepare for SDR. I gotta play SDR. I got streams, like, so I haven't had a chance to use him. But I've seen him been used a bit, and he's definitely scary. So I don't know. I don't have any like personal experience to see exactly just how like the best way to use him.
I did try him in like summoner duels, and he's like, as you would expect, really amazing. So he like, especially on this map, like he came at the right time.
Right.
So like I think he really thrives, and like if people did like their could they do SDR before the banner? Actually, they could. No, they couldn't.
No, they
couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless they do the SDR right after the banner. So yeah, hard to dodge him. But yeah, I did use him in summoner duels, and I think he is probably not SDR type of unit, but still like he goes well in SDR. Like if you run like Legendary Hinoka and everything. Again, you know, charge just boosting these flyers.
Right.
So I think he could be like SDR viable. But at the very least, like he's absolutely SDS like menace that you wanna ban.
Yeah, that's the thing with SDS. There's so many units to ban now, and Flyers have like Hinoka really did like bring the Flyers together. Like giving everything charged just makes it so like your opening is insane, your threat range is insane, and like obviously Hinoka and Claude hit like a truck. So
she's so good,
and she gives special
really
acceleration too to like get around guard. Like yeah. Like I think like that's sort of like one of the archetypes teams we'll see, like just like Hinoka flyer lines or something like that. And
I don't think they've been viable until now, which I think is what you're about to say. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you just finished my thought, but
sorry.
Yeah. No worries.
Flying fans have definitely been winning lately. It feels really nice. Like I thought Hard got a good refine, but then you get guard bearing on him or like Gambit, and I'm like, yes, Hard's cooking now. Hard doesn't work.
I just remember when Tacho put out the video on the flyer line, and I even played against his, and I was like, I don't, this is not the thing. Like I'm really not impressed. Now I'm seeing the Claude version of those, and they are potent.
Yeah.
I think he's a piece that they really needed. If you really want to make it work, you throw in Lysithea as well, and those three make an excellent flyer line.
Yeah, Flyers have been getting a lot of good buffs recently, and yeah, if we can have some of that on Cavs, that would be great too. IS, please. But yeah.
So, and you guys said an interesting thing with SDR versus SDS, and it is wild to me that I think Claude might be, like, if not the first best, maybe the second best nuke in the game. Like, he's very, very good, and the problem with, you know, SDR versus SDS is your units in SDR have to perform so many functions.
Right.
Like, the reason you like Hinoka is because, yes, she's an amazing nuke, but also she counters a lot of vantage strats, and she has the assault troop that she gives out, and she has the special acceleration. Yeah, I mean that's crazy what it takes to be an SDR unit.
I mean, it's why like the Chroms are so popular. Like the Pasta, I think, is like double legendary and dual Chrom, and because like to change fate is just so good when it comes to like being able to both move units into position and like nuke as well. And that's not even getting into like Valentine's Chrom special acceleration support. And it's like you said, like units need to do like multiple things. They might not need to do like the best in those things, but they need to do multiple things. That's why like Summer Thor is still super popular and very viable. Sure, she's not like the best nuke, but she can nuke and have that dual skill, which just shuts down so many things. And so, yeah, it's very interesting to think about like the differences between SDR and SDS in terms of viability.
Yeah, and if you have the resources, I think these kinds of units that can do multiple roles, you can often, like, if you have the resources, like, you can slap Soren Guidance 4 on Summer Thor, and suddenly she is a lot better now, because she is just not, you know, there to AoE nuke and use her button. Now she's also there for the teleportation.
Yep.
So I think, like, as many things as these units can do, the better it is. And at some point, I just want them to clean my house too. So
edit my videos
Yeah.
for me. Thank you.
Help
Thor.
me pack so I'm not in a mound of boxes right now. That'd be great.
Babysit the kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no, I wouldn't trust Thor to do that.
But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see like obviously like Claude can like provide the teleportation support with the guidance 4 and everything. It'll be interesting to see if like he that will be enough to make him SDR viable. I think he has a shot. Like again, he's like a super powerful nuke that can just get through so many things. So I think he has a shot at it.
Yeah, and like Flyers are a lot more consistent than Cavaliers. So like if you invest in him, then or like pull for him, spark for him, then like it's gonna be a lot more consistent than using like Tea Time, Iron, Mercedes, for example, and Summoner Duels, for example.
Right.
Definitely.
We touched on this briefly, but like I know Joel, you inherited Prime 4 to your Sharena, which absolutely based, if I do say so myself. Like, are we going to see like Prime 4 like Omni tanks everywhere now? Well, maybe not everywhere, but is that like optimal now that we have this versus something like Distant AS Solo?
What mode? I mean, Aether Raid's offense, yes, definitely. I think it's much harder on Summoner Duels, and that's something Oblivion was talking about last night. Like you kind of have to work a little bit, or have a special unit like Claude who already gets a couple effects. So I think the newer units would be great with that.
Yeah, and also like you have to hope that you don't face a Summer Thor, and then like it turns off all your bonuses, and you don't have DC anymore.
Yep.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's kind of like a mini Brave Soren type of thing. Like Prime is as good as your support units, like Ledgering Ellywoods, Garrix that you have, and over the time we're going to be getting more of them. So if you can pull for these units that give you multiple status effects, then Prime is really, really good. But if you don't really have it, then you don't really have much of an option.
Right. That's very true.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah.
What a
I just
great
love the
gimmick.
Prom. Yeah.
So not only are they trying to get you to summon for attack speed prime, but they're also trying to get you to summon for the units that are able to support you with all those. That's
Right.
Smart.
I mean, that's why like I personally think that like Prime is a lot better in Light Season than in Astro Season, unless you have like a Naga or something. But like in Light Season, like Asker and Peony gives you all the 4 supports that you need, the 4 effects that you need.
Yeah.
Whereas in like Astro Season, it's like a lot harder. Like sure you have like Sather with like the I think follow-up denial, was it?
Yeah.
Follow-up denial.
That's 1. And then if you have Naga, that's like 2 more. But yeah, I don't want to run Naga, you know?
What? Naga is actually pretty good. I have to say, she's kind of a sleeper in the Astro season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for a Gale Force team, I don't think she does too much. She's like a smite bot, but yeah.
Dragon Gale Force win.
I know,
Dragon
right?
Gale Force.
Like,
Dude, give me that for Ninian. I will. Oh my god, I will go off so hard.
Yeah.
I want that on Ninian. I want that on both Liliths. Like, come on, IS.
Oh,
What are you waiting for? Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much design space left for like dragons and beast units that they can design a special, design their, their slot B skills and such. And now they can even like design maybe like slot C skills that can allow them to get something that other units cannot, like the support for the beasts. I mean, we kind of have that with like ward beasts and such, but like in a good way, I guess.
And we have been getting like the new beast skills that have been really nice. I just want there to be like more of them, or like one that I don't know has like special acceleration or like something like that. Like I think that could be, or like WOM or something. I think that could be like really, really cool. But yeah, like overall, this has been an interesting month, I would say. Like obviously we do have like CYL stuff. We have the Wind Tribe and Legendary Alear banners. Are there any other topics you want to discuss before we end it off? We've been recording for an hour and 40 minutes, actually. Oh my goodness. Okay. But any other final topics before we say our goodbyes?
Final topics. Let me think. Maybe. I guess we then talk about Dancer Refines.
Yeah, Dancer Refines. Yeah, I mean,
Like Mirabilis.
Mm-hmm. I think Mirabilis is. Oh, go ahead.
I think people are sleeping on a Refine. I think it's actually like pretty solid. Like it's like with Peony, right? You don't need all that much to make it very good. And I think being able to give out that like dull all bonus to your nukes on defense is really strong, because what are you trying to do a lot of times when you're not playing Gale Force? You're trying to speed stack. To be able to just remove that, the +6 to all speed, or like bonus doubler +6 to all speed, that's a big advantage she gives. And then the flash is kind of like, whatever. It can be useful sometimes. It can get someone off like guard, but the dual bonus is really good.
But the reason the flash status is so good is because of how thematic it is. She's putting units to sleep. That's.
You're going somewhere else. I was like, Joel.
If she was putting units to sleep, she would end their action like for Mortis, but in their face.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where you're going with that, Joel.
Me either.
Yeah, the flash effect is like cool and all, but like I don't think it will really like affect what she does, because like obviously you don't want her to attack. Like one of the reasons why she's so good is because she's melee and therefore can't get baited as easily. But like I still think Mirabilis, just by virtue of being a dancer, was like already one of the best anima mythics, and like this just makes her a little bit better, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but with the Dancer Refines that we have seen, I think they're just not going to be giving them any kind of support, or like slightly improving the support, and like their support comes from their remix basically. And that's why like I'm really looking forward to the next banner to see if they give Plumeria like new dance or something that she could maybe take inspiration from in her remix, because clearly like these dancer weapon refines, like in a perfect world we would want them to just focus on the support and not care about the combat.
Right.
But like they are going to be the combat refines pretty much. So that's interesting to me that they're just going to be focusing on their dance for the main support rather than the weapon.
And it's obvious we have the data mine, so we know it's coming. But it would have. Someone brought up the fact how funny it would be if we had an arcane dance, and that made my head spin. Like that would have been interesting to have not just weapons but actually arcane skills as well.
That would
be
interesting.
Insane value.
Yeah. Like IS was like, you wanted dancer refines? Here you go. Have fun with this, or something like that.
Yeah, the free to play racing guidance for G2 flying stonks going on.
Yes.
Ooh. I like that.
Oh boy. Dancers can finally score well in arena. What a world we're in.
Personally, I'm hoping Plumeria, like for her fodder, she brings Wings of Mercy 4, because I do not want to kill Hinokas. So please bring Wings of Mercy 4 so I can duplicate it.
I will legitimately.
I think she's gonna have like I think she might have Flyer Formation 4 or something. Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Huh. That'd be interesting too, though.
Yeah. I will actually summon for Arcane or Rearmed Plumeria if she has Wings of Mercy 4. Like, IS, the ball is in your court, okay? Like, I don't summon normally that much, but like, this is the one case where I would actually do it.
I think PM1 has it though. I think this is Flyer Formation 4. I don't know what that is yet, but I think this is going to be something kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, probably 2-space teleportation.
Probably, yeah.
Something like that. The reason why I think that it's too soon for Wings of Mercy is that they let these high value skills marinate for a bit before releasing them into the normal summoning pool, so that people clone them with the rearmed units. I feel like.
Right. They also just forget about skills too. Like we still don't have like speed defense unity. Like what the heck? It's been like 3 years. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brave
So
Dimitri tanks are still waiting for their speed resistance unity to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Fallen Ikes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just a lot of skill families that like ISCs do finish up, but they keep releasing new ones. Like we just got Prime now, and we like and Pledge and everything, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long that takes up.
Yeah, they're just gonna be having these kinds of new skills, which honestly I'm a big fan of because it's a lot better than just having better units. At least you get to put them on your older units at the very least. And again, do the best what FEH players can do, which is cope. So yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm in the coping camp.
I think we all are at some point.
Yeah, like the focus on skills I think has been such a good direction because like you can make so many units like usable even in like something like Summoner's Duels. Like if you say like a year ago that Har would be like SDS Viable or SD Viable, like people would have like thought you were crazy, but like he legitimately is now with like the new skills we've gotten. And the fact that you can do that on like Grail units, okay, maybe not like Leo or units like that, but like like it's just such a good direction and like makes the game feel like honestly really fun and balanced in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really helps, and we do see some like nice Grail refines and also demote refines like Echidna, so that's like super good. Like Gambit 4 is again such a good skill, and I hope they do more of these skills and let us cope, because like you can take out copium out of FEH players, but you cannot take out FEH players out of the copium.
I know there are definitely people that are coping about like health refine and remix. Like I don't think it's bad, but like I don't think it's good either.
They only needed to make it so that she could teleport behind units, and I think it would have been good because you could just take out supports then. Like that would give her some viability. I still don't think it makes her like the best because Medius exists, and like why would you want to run hell when you can run Medius? But you know,
but hey,
it's something.
At least now we can fodder Guard Bearing 3 with ease and like chain that with Guard Bearing 4, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's why they gave her distant pressure and not something to
Why? There are still folks out there that like swear by distant pressure, and like I don't understand. Like there's no scenario, even if you have healing, there's no scenario where you would want to run distant pressure because you'd rather have more healing, right? Like I don't know. I was never a big fan.
No. I like them. They can take the chip damage. It makes it easier.
Yes. Please use distant pressure on all your units, folks. It's such a good skill. But yeah, thank you so much. We've been talking for a long time, but it's been super fun. And it's always so good to talk with other people about FEH. Like, we've been doing this FEHtuber thing for a while, and yeah, it's always great to be able to talk about this game. And thank you again, Phoenix Master, for joining us and taking a part of this discussion on quite the eventful month.
Absolutely, it was all my pleasure, and I didn't even know when the time passed. It was just so much fun.
Yeah. That is a running thing when doing these
exactly. We just keep talking.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching or listening. Do let us know down in the comments what your favorite new addition to FEH has been this past month, what your thoughts are on CYL 7 and the CYL 5 refines and Legendary Alear. Like, there's just been so much movement in FEH, so yeah, do let us know. Thank you to Oblivion and Joel, as always, for joining. Always great to have them on as normal. And yeah, once again, it was so great to have all four of us here. It was such a blast. And hope everyone watching, everyone listening, has an amazing rest of the day. Thank you all so much, and see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.